Hello, hello. Let me go over here. The game is in the process of opening now. Hello. And the cat is already in my lap. Alright. And let's just get started. I've got about 2 hours. I do have to get up a little bit early tomorrow. So, late night, but we won't be up too late this time. Let me... Okay. My desk is a little bit crowded. I probably should invest in clearing it off a little bit, but that's okay. And something I want to do is let's do this. I don't actually want all the this bottom floor to be dirt. It would be kind of wasteful to do that. So we're gonna fix it, or not fix it, but like kind of change the... Oh no, that's fine I guess though. Yeah, we're gonna change the initial strategy. Kind of get rid of that as well. And I should have enough stone to kind of manage that. Since technically dirt only needs to go where the trees are, this not only saves dirt, but it also makes it easier when I get the replanting back in. Because something we don't want is we don't want the saplings to get placed in areas where they're not supposed to grow. So the idea would be to kind of separate that. And then I also need it to go in the middle. Something like that. Oh, hello again. The cat jumped back on my desk. Something like that? Yeah. And it shouldn't actually go in the middle, so it won't be 9 different trees that grow. but rather it'll be 8, since the middle is technically what would spin. And I guess the only thing I have to worry about from here is which one's gonna be the middle. Unless I go with like a diameter there. I mean, even then, still have to worry about which one will be the middle. It seems like it kind of just wants to be mid-thunderstorm regardless what I do. And this is where the middle would be. I just kind of have to figure out which one I want to spin. And obviously, I can get rid of these. And I want a torch right there as well. Then, since I need to clear out the path here, since technically the path goes around it, I will head up and get some more water for the steam mining drill. Maybe I'll also gather and keep a bucket of water with me, so that I can do that whenever I want. I don't like that I don't hear the thunder sounds. Why is that? Oh well, that's fine. Okay. There we go. And then, oh, I do kind of need that, don't I? Okay. There we go. Problem solved. Yeah, still do need to light that up, or just destroy it. It's still at the point where I no longer actually need access to that, so we'll see what I do in a second. Also, let me get some light. Okay, let's make sure that's right. Yep, it is. We'll chuck that right there. And then we'll kind of just repeat this. And just to make sure things don't spawn, we do that. I have to wonder if this is actually going to be enough space for the tree to grow. Let me see if I have them on me. I don't think I do, though. Obviously, I need food. There they are. Nice. Looks like that works well. And then let's try this one. Actually, firstly, how far out does this one go? About 3 blocks. This one does not look like it will grow. How about if I put it there? Perfect. What's a little bit of a strange connection? Maybe I'll do that with the other trees too. Wherever it seems to go out here, I'll kind of make it more of a circle. Let's see about clearing out these. Some of that breaks. And my axe also breaks. I'm pretty sure I can repair it with deep slate, right? Yeah. Okay, for whatever reason, they're giving me a different stack. Okay, we're halfway there. I wonder if I can just take all of it at once. No. It kinda cut into the other tree a little bit. Oh, and my axe broke. I was gonna say, it kinda cut into the other tree a little bit, but... yeah. I guess for whatever reason, the mining limit is a little bit too short. Perhaps if I upgraded my tool, maybe. But right now, that doesn't actually matter too much to me. Since, hello again. Or you could run away. That's fine. The cat is, running around like my desk is a jungle gym. That didn't even give me, well, no, technically, I guess not. No. No, yeah, that didn't even give me all the saplings I need. That's terrible. I need you to actually give me all the saplings I need. Which means I should have 6. And anything less than 6, I'm losing. Which is a problem. There we go. Now I'm gaining. I want to fill all of these if I can, and that's not gonna work. Okay, some of them do, some of them don't. I just have to hope that it gives me enough to keep expanding, because for whatever reason, it seems like sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But now if I break every single tree, it should give me enough to replace every single tree. Not to mention there was also two kind of hidden up here. And that does it for this farm, other than obviously the create mod stuff I need to do later on. Which I might honestly make like underneath kind of look like some kind of like a propeller. Or maybe I'll do that on top. I'll make some like pillars and then have like a propeller kind of above it that's actually just a windmill that's powering the tree farm. Doesn't need to go too fast. It just needs to look big enough that it would be able to hold it up. All right, let's I guess before I do that, focus on this over here. Since now technically I know where the house over there will go compared to where the house over here needs to go. The overall kind of objective is that there will be maybe firstly a wall here. Or maybe I won't do a wall on the outside since that'll be more of like the grassland or the terrain. I don't know, let me go to photos real quick. I keep forgetting like HDR is a problem. Let me fix this problem real quick. It'll go like that. There we go. And then now that this is solved where it doesn't kind of cause my screen to flicker here and there, I then want to go to my file explorer. And open the reference image. There we go. And I need the path to kind of lead straight from here into something there where a circle could go there. And it looks like the dark oak is also starting to grow on its own. So let me head down and figure out instead of where the dark oak would go, where like oak and birch would go, since they're both kind of going to be the same. The major difference I could see with it is what do you call it? It'll be a little bit closer, and it will also be one block instead of two. Birch and oak may also have a difference as to size, where oak might be like a 4x4 grid. Birch might be a lot smaller just because I don't think I'm going to use it. So this is the 3x3 grid that I would need for Oh wait, let me also do these corners. Anyway, yes, this is going to be the 3x3 grid that I want to use for the birch. And then I also want to do some kind of outside for the oak. Can I do something like this without it being too close? No, those would be too close. So maybe I just do this. Where the circle is a tiny bit further. I mean, I could also do that. I'm not too sure yet. If I'm correct, though, I could really just do that. It doesn't have to go all the way out, this one. And then what if I go with the same sort of pattern where it's all the way out then in one again? Would that pattern sort of fit? So this would be all the way out, then we go in with one. And then this one would go all the way out, and then, yep, in one. That would work. Cool. And let me see if I can't get something taken care of real quick. There we go. And this is kind of how the oak tree farm would work. If I head over to this one was what, 26? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's 20. Yeah, 26 to get it around the edge here. So let's see. Could this potentially also fit in a 26 by 26 base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, I think it could fit. Maybe a 25 by 25 space for this one. But first, let me figure out the oak one, or not the oak one, the birch one, since that's the one that'll go near the tree. Let's go over to circle generator. And we're gonna go with maybe 15, or one would go there. Oh wait, this one, not that one. Maybe? Let me go back to the one that was 26 and see if I can't figure out where everything was supposed to be. Okay, that one left one on the outside, so 17 is absolutely a better option. Because that leaves one on the outside. And technically it would go more so where that's in a little bit more. I'm trying to kind of explain it because it's not actually something I'm showing on my screen. But I think that'll do it. It's gonna be 5, 2, a weird like 2 by 2 cube, 2, and then 5 again. And if I am correct, yeah, nothing's making too much noise nearby. And I should have the dark oak lit up enough. Cool. So let's assume, since I kind of do want this to be more of like a grassland, it doesn't actually need to be blocked off like the center is. Although I might do so anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I think I'll kind of do the same sort of blockade just to make sure that things stay even. There we go. So the closest this would be able to be, and I'm probably going to use cobbled, or actually I'm probably going to use stone for this. The closest it should be to any of these paths is 3 blocks. And this needing 5, then 2 means that maybe I can do the 2 blocks there. That looks far enough out. Maybe I do that? And then what is it? The weird, like, curved thing here, isn't it? Yeah. Or technically, this would be outside, wouldn't it? Plus, also, this kind of would touch. So I need to move it over 1. Alright, yeah, let's, keep going with that. Oh, right, that's wrong. And it needs to move a little bit because this is where the path would be more realistically. Oh, hi. Rebounding, what does that do? Ants and 55 emeralds? Do I have that? I have 73 emeralds. But I don't think I have enough diamonds. Let's just, oh, right, I have to go around that. Nope, I need those out. Okay, I suppose that's not gonna work. Yeah. Unfortunately, so few. It's okay, I do it for fun. I'm wondering how the stream is at 0, even if there was a chat, but that's fine. I'll let YouTube sort itself out. 6 out of 7? I've been recently doing a lot of all the mods 10 in the sky. Which ones? Alright, let's do that. Why are there sticks in there? And let's go to the Wandering Trader real quick. Yes, which ones are you referring to? Okay, so now... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to avoid it like the plague, but it haunts me. Because it's now the most 2 common numbers I use for anything. For whatever reason. Alright, let me get my steam engine back out. Not steam engine, steam-powered drill. Same thing, I suppose. And I think maybe I move it 3 blocks that way? I'm not sure. If I do this... Exactly. And it just so happened that it also gave me the worst piece of armor for trade for that too. It is the only armor piece that needs 7 diamonds. Okay, let me see if... I think you did. I completely forgot about it though. I definitely have to look into more about it. I think you said something about like remodeling the... or remaking it at one point as well. How's that been going? Oh, that's a tight fit. I don't know if I like it being that close. Okay, we're gonna move it another 3 blocks that way. I want to say. maybe 4. You can't go wrong with extra, right? What's crazy is I already moved it back 3 blocks. And, when you look at moving 3 or more blocks back and add it together, I'm not even gonna say it. That's fair. Oh no, I needed all those. Oh well. That's typically what I do when I attempt to make a pack. I just throw a bunch of random mods together and hope it works. Alright, let's do 3 out this way and 3 out this way. Yeah. Definitely a... Oh, okay, well, that works. Definitely a downside to updating things is a lot of resetting gets involved. That's why I typically don't work with that sort of thing. I also just don't seem to find the time. Okay, we're gonna go 2 blocks out more this way. I would say absolutely. It won't do it on its own, so I get that. Sometimes though, it's good to note you probably just need to do it even if you don't feel like doing it. Don't push it too much, obviously, you don't want to get burnt out, but if you always wait to want to do it, 9 times out of 10 you're never going to want to. I definitely should. Okay. Hang on. 1 second. 1 second, let me eat. Alright, that's it. You had your chance to just let me run and sleep. You lost it. Yeah, that's kind of something I've been trying to do, is force myself to go through with things. Otherwise, I'll never finish anything. I have a bad habit of moving from one thing to the next. Um, Other than recently discovering All the Mods 10 had a Skyblock variant, not really, considering All the Mods 10 is extremely similar to FTB Skies as well. But I've definitely still been playing quite a bit of mods. I also had a solid, like, 2-week period of time where I was just playing Risk of Rain 2. I don't like playing games when I'm not streaming. I figure if I am gonna stream, I probably should just play the games I want to play on stream. So, right, I can also delete that. Though I am curious with the server. How is it with like griefing and things like that? Griefing, PvP, whatnot. I'm not too great at those things, so it's definitely something I would have a challenging time doing. I think this one's 5. That's fair. As you can tell, I don't always... Oh, that's not the right block. I don't always do the semi-realism. Okay, that's fair. So there's nothing restricting it, but it's not meant to be the focus. I can work with that. How so? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, no, I don't typically do the... Yeah. I mean, it'll be there unless it's a server that deliberately restricts it. With enough mods, as long as there's not too many sweats, I could probably make some kind of hidden bases and stuff, though. Actually, I would do it anyway just because I think it's fun. A funny Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've never actually successfully got to the moon in any mods that allow it. Assuming you're referring to one of those. I don't think I am too keen on the idea of building an entire planet. Oh, that's wrong. Which is ironic considering I'm playing Skyblock and building essentially what would be a planet. Nice, easy, and building, my favorite. That's why Satisfactory was so addicting. There we go. Which reminds me, oh wait, what's wrong? Oh, I'm out of coal? Really? Problem solved. I may or may not ever actually, reach it. See, my problem when I play this game is, I don't really progress. I mean, I should have a foundry by now. I'm on what, day 53? And I'm building a massive tree farm. An unnecessary build. It's not even the tree farm that's massive, it's just the build that's massive. So that's another thing I like to do. Uh, let's make sure that's in my offhand this time. As someone that's not, I can say it also gets quite problematic when a full-time job takes overtime too. I'm actually trying to work my way into a more enjoyable career. You did mention something about a medieval pack. And we'll go 2 there. Yep, that's right. I'm gonna guess that there's configuration problems with the bronze and tin. Maybe 2 recipes or 2 different variants of the ore.
That's a guess for why you say semi-functional. I actually haven't messed with configurations, but last time I tried to do something like that, I ended up having like two different types of I think it was bronze. One was craftable and one was an ore in the world. I also kind of combined create mod with it, so that's my fault. I've I think I've seen stuff about immersive portals on YouTube before. Hasn't someone built like a really complicated upside down house? And I'm out of stone. That's fine. Kinda got. Oh, wait. I also don't want this here. According to the reference and even just my own kind of idea for the build, this needs to go. It might be interesting. I might try it in the near future. The primary goal right now is I want to get this build done, at least a part of it, before I move on to another thing that I'll end up sticking to and leaving this behind for like a month. But because I have things I need to do in the morning, I may not stream tomorrow. I've been trying to get back into streaming daily. Let me check what I have to do the next few days. I'm thinking Wednesday or Thursday, maybe I'll try it. Because today I can't really stream as long as I'd want to either. Oh, whoops. That's too far out. I am, yes. Let me make this simple. I do like fantasy a lot. Medieval stuff is interesting, but once magic and stuff like that gets added, I like it a lot. And also I need to consider lighting up this area before nightfall. I don't want anything to spawn on here. The lighting will look better in the future, but for now we're just gonna go with this. And then here, I mean, I guess I could just keep this path going straight that way. Yeah. Sometimes the process of things gets very tedious and annoying. Also, this is one of my favorite things in the world is the statue lights up. Have sea lanterns in there. Okay, I'm gonna sleep because phantoms spawning tonight would not be optimal. And this is gonna get broken down. Unfortunately, this is kind of like the spawn for all the mods 10, so I can't break these signs. I did not, but that is very, very exciting. assuming other mods are actually compatible with it. Specifically Serene Seasons, because I actually did try to do something similar to that, but I ended up learning that the entire heat and cold thing didn't have too much compatibility with it. So it didn't really work out with the first one. Was it Ice and Fire, or am I thinking of another mod? I might be thinking of another mod. Isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Ice and Fire. I think Ice and Fire is the one that adds dragons, not the one I'm thinking of. Still also one that I've played quite a bit. I'll definitely look into it. Okay, I think now. Right, I did run out of Deep Slate. Let me grab that. I also need to figure out what I want the house to look like. Or I guess the farm. Oh wait, I also had Deep Slate in my inventory. Possibly? I could probably check one of the other ones I've made. Um, Essentially, what the mod I'm talking about, what it did is it added a system which you could you could either get too cold or too hot. It's a very small, simple mod, but there was extremely limited ways to actually heat up if you were cold or cool down if you were hot. Is it called Cold Sweat? I thought I used another one. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I definitely think I used another one. Perhaps I invest in attempting to make my own pack again. Minus the fact that I don't know how to do any of the scripting. That's what it is. I think it's Tough as Nails that did it. The one that I used. Yeah. Because I just found Tough as Nails tweaked, which adds compatibility to create mod Farmer's Delight. I've been using Cursed Forge, so any that's not on there, I don't know about, and even some that are on there, I also just don't know about. The question is, what's the best one to use in terms of having compatibility with things like Biomes of Plenty and Create Mod, of course, too. because that's important to me. Alright, and I'll figure out where that ends later. Or where I need to come out on that side. Okay, yeah, that checks out. I just haven't known about them, or haven't looked into them enough. I really have to wonder how I want this house to look. I guess I'll just start laying it out and figure it out from there. It'll be a regular oak, probably, even though I'm technically in a river. And or forest, I guess. Okay. I do have oak logs. In the reference, the house kind of goes out to the center of this circle. But I don't want to follow the reference too closely, because that is extremely long. It's a little farther away on my build, and I didn't really want to have it look too similar anyway, especially after finding out it was not made by a human. I think what I'll do is kind of go with like a taller sort of thing here. And since I can't make like stairs with oak logs, I'll probably, well, I mean, I guess I can, they're just oak stairs. I'll probably use framed blocks for it. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Let me grab... Actually, let me grab both of these. So one, I can actually get up and down easier, and two, I have it in my inventory whenever I need it. I want this to kind of be like a farm for animals, so... I also need to get some, fences. I'm thinking maybe I'll do 4 cows, pigs, chicken, sheep. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I can put this in my offhand and just throw this out. By the way, since you've last been in the stream, I'm pretty sure it hasn't been since I was also streaming on Twitch. I have since stopped streaming on Twitch, though. Maybe I'll consider a farm for that. Shouldn't be too hard. Not with create, of course. Okay, let me... That's not what I wanted to do. Throw those out of there. Put that right there, and... see if I can't craft some of these. Nice. I guess some of those ended up meaning 70, 60. I can't count. I guess I'll just turn 10 of these into framed stairs. And then I need some of these. I think that might be a little bit too short. Whoops. Unfortunately, I can't just... Oh, wait, yes, I can. That's awesome. And of course, I need to make sure the area is lit up. Now, I can... Oh, no. I do plan to make a mob farm later on, just one that's, a little more optimal for my life. And I actually need... Oh, almost overjumped it. I actually need these to be the normal logs. And then these will be the flipped swans. Hopefully I can also make trapdoors of this variant, or like panels or something. Because I kind of want to go for that arched look. And I'm so glad I can do it with something that isn't oak for the first time in a while. Yeah, I guess frame trapdoor might be the best way to go. If I used 10, I'm gonna need 30 frame trapdoors for what I'm about to do. And that's gonna mean 30 of these, which I'm not gonna have enough for, that's fine. That's true. When it comes to spruce, though, I actually prefer deep slate now. Actually, with anything, I kind of prefer deep slate now. Although for this build, I'm kind of attempting to make it look like an old farm in a way. So I kind of want to stick to like oak sort of like an oak wooden sort of style. I'm actually gonna kind of build in just a little bit, so maybe I'd go over just a little bit more. Because something that's gonna be somewhat problematic is there's gonna be another wall behind this one to sort of make the interesting kind of depth push out a little bit. Yes, I was definitely kind of referencing a castle just a little bit for whatever reason. Since I'm out of oak logs, maybe I also invest in kind of making the circle over here where the oak will be. And for that, I need to head over here and kind of make sure that whatever I do, the circular size makes sense. They are. Maybe in the future I'll build one. I've already kind of got the dumb idea of building a mountain, so that's gonna happen eventually. Hopefully. Uh, what is the villager recruits mod? I'm not sure about, I've heard of that one yet. Isn't that one where you can kind of have like the villagers fight for you? Sort of like Skyrim NPCs? Or certain Skyrim NPCs, I should say. Not all of them will fight beside you. Wait. Okay, yeah, no, I definitely did test it. It's fine. Maybe for the time being, let me kind of build over to the birch farm. This is all going to be stone down here eventually, so I'm not too worried about kind of bridging over at the moment. Okay, that mod sounds fun, I think. Get like a sort of medieval fantasy kind of thing going where you can just command an army. That would be pretty cool. I think I'm out of slabs. Yes, I'm out of slabs. That's something I don't think a lot of games that kind of go for it do well. I haven't really seen a game where you can actually command an army in like a fantasy RPG sense actually go well. It was either like the army was unnecessarily small or it was more of a simulated experience than it was a first person commanding an army experience. Although that's sort of one, an opinion, and two, me not actually knowing a lot of games that do try to simulate that. Yeah. I think I've seen a game where it was slightly larger, maybe. At the same time, I don't remember if it was larger or smaller. I mean, I'm thinking like, yeah, 30 is definitely decent. I think if you go too large, it's kind of it's a lot more difficult to sort of look at everything, and then you also have the aspect of like, if there were two armies that had hundreds or thousands of people, PCs probably wouldn't enjoy that too much. I think I've played one game that had like maybe 5 or 6 other people at most. I wasn't a fan just because it felt extremely limited. There were more enemies than allies, which didn't make it more difficult, but the difficulty was also scaled based on the numbering, and that kind of thing throws me off a little bit. I think that game also was more so simulating a mercenary setting rather than an actual military setting. So rather than leading the army, you were kind of part of it. It was still limited on how many you could have. I definitely don't think that's supposed to go all the way out there. Yeah. It's crazy to think that in those games it could be like just 6 archers and somehow you're able to defeat like a 50-man army. Difficulty scaling in games goes crazy. If the pack fits that sort of idea, I think it should be. And I forgot I actually don't need the center. I'm a fan of combining both Biomes O' Plenty and Terralith personally. That's just been my go-to as a small streamer with a limited mod experience. I don't know much about Lithosphere. It's, what is it? It is called Terralith, right? Yeah, Terralith. It kind of, like, makes an absolute ton more large mountains, so Terralith is actually kind of annoying, but true, if you're going for more realistic terrain, Biomes O' Plenty might not be the way to go. I think Biomes O' Plenty is also more fantasy themed, which explains why I use it a lot. I could theoretically start planting oak in there, but later that is going to be a tree farm for birch, not oak. I just need a lot more oak wood, so that's fair. If you manage the small chance of it not being a volcano, Terralith is pretty good at that. Might be worth looking into. But there's a lot of times where it does end up being a volcano. It also, for whatever reason, has, I think my birch saplings are in here. It also has like a Yellowstone biome, which is strange to me because, you know, there's one area like that in the world that I know of, and it's an entire biome that's super common in Terralith. That seems actually, I want to say that seems terrible, but I think that's exactly what 1.19 did. The only problem is actually finding mountains that suit what you're looking for is a little challenging. I think it's pretty good. I think it could just be better. Sometimes you get extraordinarily large oceans for no reason, and it gets quite annoying. I mean, the biggest thing, that tree's not gonna grow. The biggest thing is that it can't really be too realistic because if I'm correct, each block in game is supposed to be a meter, and I don't think Earth is like 10 million meters large. Not to mention it's also not flat and doesn't have a border at the end. So, there are still, unfortunately, some limitations to how realistic it can be. There is a game I know of. That sounds like a mod pack that changes that, but I don't actually know much about that one. Actually, I've never heard of that mod pack. Oh, look at that. It actually did grow into something. That's not the right... No. Oh, what? Okay, I guess for whatever reason it did connect, which is interesting. So what does that do? Kind of add like a... or limit the world size and add maybe like a teleportation kind of thing at the edge of the world? What, did it prevent... Wait, did something prevent you from sending a link? Because I thought I turned that off. No. I think YouTube would tell me. Okay, that's fair. I think wrapping the world could kind of simulate the idea. Ow. But yeah, I think wrapping the world could definitely simulate the idea of a round world if you limit the size and don't make it 10 million blocks. Let me just go in Cursed Forge and look at it. Oh, okay. I don't see JJ Thunder in the mods list. Is it not a mod? Actually, let me just go to all and find out. Yeah, I don't see JJ Thunder. Or Lithosphere, for that matter. Yep, I don't happen to see any of those in Cursed Forge. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong area. Wait, Big Globe, Towns and... Oh. So why do I see a compatibility mod, but I don't see... I see Big Globe optimized. Weird. I'd have to do more research on those. I'll definitely check the links if they're sent in the server. I'll check them after the stream. Since I do only have like 40 or so minutes left to stream. Can't make big progress this time like I did last time, unfortunately. Um, let's say I want to make planks and I think it's in a chest up here. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Like I said, I actually only use Cursed Forge unless I'm trying to add like shaders and stuff to realms, but I'm not typically big on that just because one, it's annoying, and two, every time they do a small update, I have to renew them. I think I kind of want to use these for the floor. Or maybe not. I have an idea, hang on. Uh, Debatable. I think I could run it unless you have distant horizons. That might be a little less debatable. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of running distant horizons with unnecessarily high-end shaders. My graphics card hates it. Okay, why does it do that? I don't like that in the corner. If I stack it, um, how about we do this? And I will maybe keep like 6 of those and then make the rest of these like, these are large oak planks. Let me make the rest of them stacked. I think I could run it. All I'm saying is if my 4090 can't run a mod like that, why do I have it? Actually, I think that would be the CPU power. Maybe I should invest in renewing my thermal paste before I burn it up. Okay, I don't like how those look. I could try smooth oak planks. How does that look? That also has like a weird border thing on top, but it kind of blends in with this nicely. With the one exception of I hate this corner. This corner looks hideous. But I think I'm gonna go with it. Oh, I have 64 gigabytes. That might work. If I play the mod pack though, maybe I'll upgrade to 128. There we go. That looks okay, I think. I kinda like that. I wish the stacked oak planks would look a little more connected. Maybe I try and find one that is a little bit more connected. I could use vertical. I could also just go back to uh regular oak planks, of course. That looks destroyed. Maybe I throw that in here and there. But the entire build being made of that, a little too much. Um, Maybe I just go with normal oak planks. It doesn't look too bad. Let's make a little bit of a... That is not the right block. There we go. Then we'll go this way. And maybe I do like a 3x5 sort of thing. Nah, I'll keep it 2. I don't think they need too much space. Yes, I do have 64 gigabytes. I probably could if I kept my PC on constantly, but I don't think I want to do that. Running a 4090 24/7 might cause problems later on. I'm not exactly a fan of burning out a graphics card this expensive. Not yet, anyway. Actually, funny story. I once attempted to code my own AI. It's not easy, and it actually took every resource in my computer to run the thing, since I decided not to run it from a cloud. I tried that. I just didn't like it. Python. I think I used I have to check. I don't remember which model it was, but I did the programming in Python. The model was called like Raptor or something like that. It's one that you kind of have to apply to use or something like that, and I guess I did it, and I don't know why you have to apply since they didn't ask me any questions. They just gave me access. I'm pretty sure it's a very small one. I'd still have to look into it. Let me see if I can't pull it up actually. Um, I can't show it because giving away a token is a terrible idea. The model is Falcon 7B. It didn't actually go well, and it used way too many resources. But it's like TIIUAE Falcon 7B instruct or something like that. I'm terrible with programming, so most of what I did was kind of just copied and pasted through research. It's like a thing where I kind of understand it after I type it. I just cannot remember code to save my life. Python is, I guess, similar to C Sharp though, which I've also worked in. I haven't done much with like networking and stuff yet, but it's interesting, I suppose. I have fun programming. I actually want to get into game development. For starters, I was just trying to run it. I'm not gonna lie. But it took like, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes just to get a response out of it. So I kind of just gave up on it for now. Training it would have been the next step if I continued. I probably just need to run a smaller version. It ran after 5 to 10 minutes of processing, like 70 to 90% usage of both my CPU and GPU simultaneously. And I also had to close everything else, otherwise it would get stuck and crash or end up sending a loop of the same thing on repeat for some reason. The idea was for like general purpose, I guess. It would have done, I guess, how do I explain it? Because I don't actually know much about AI or what it's called, or what the different like skill sets are called, but it was supposed to be like a general purpose AI. It would be able to do research for you, or I guess not for you, because AI can always provide misinformation and you should never actually rely on it. But it would be able to do research and hold conversations. Some creative thinking was the initial goal, but starting that, it started giving a happy Friday speech for some reason on a Tuesday. We don't talk about that. But yeah, it was supposed to be kind of like a general purpose. No, I didn't get to that part. I was actually just trying to get the model to run on my computer. It was more so, I guess, getting the model to run on my computer's resources rather than through a cloud network. It was also before training. I hadn't gotten to the training part yet. Like I said, it worked. It just took like 5 to 10 minutes. And obviously, without training, the responses won't make sense. I will try that one though. If I ever consider using Python again, because Python is a very conflicting software programming language. Yes, that's what I was getting it to do. Connect to my device and save memories to a text file. It unfortunately kept giving me a loop. I didn't feed it back into the prompts. That might be why. But I did have it kind of repeat like past conversations. Like I said, the part I would have been on was training it if it took less than 5 minutes to load a hello. Oh. I'll definitely have to look more into it. It was a first try sort of thing, but it was again, it was a first try. I have absolutely no experience with Python other than that. Actually, most of what I've done was in C# or JavaScript, a little bit of PHP, but I can't always remember much about it, so it's everything I do is all research. That's true. I think I had the context window set to like 500 characters or something. Let me hang on. I'm actually gonna see because now I'm curious what the model was. Uh, where's VS Code? I think I closed it. Let's reopen it. It was Falcon 7B. Let me. It's about 14. Oh wait, for minimum inference, but it varies depending on specific tasks, like inference, fine tuning, and whether quantization is used. Quantized versions can run as little as 3.9 gigabytes of RAM, but fine-tuning typically requires 40 to 60 gigabytes of VRAM. The 7B part is 7 billion parameters. I have no idea how much I was trying to use for it. NVIDIA A10? I have no idea what that is. Where does that place on the RTX series? Is, I guess. I think mine would have 24. No, that's something else. I don't remember. VRAM is something I haven't paid much attention to, which is crazy considering I built my computer. Oh, that's a thing I can do in the terminal? I am going to try that right after the stream. I know that. Oh, wait. Why are you down there? That's a problem. Hang on one moment. Get out of my tree farm. Oh, that's why you're down there. I didn't light this place up. It's interesting. I didn't know you also worked with like AI and stuff. Even if it's small and experimental, it's still an interesting thing to learn. Oh, what software do I need for that one? If it isn't just easier to look that up. Okay, maybe I go with more planks. No, it's... Oh, okay. I'll look into it for sure. It's strange. I have absolutely zero reason to program an AI at all. Or, I guess, train one. I have zero reason to connect one to my device and see if I can't get it to run on the specs anyway. But at the same time, it's interesting. I would probably have a better uh time management if I just stuck to Unreal Engine and Godot and, made games, which is kind of the primary reason I wanted to build this computer. But we'll ignore the procrastination for now. Okay, let me... Oh, I didn't realize it stored the planks in there. Yeah, the unfortunate part is what I used to use to make games is has proven a little untrustworthy, and I'm a little skeptical on using it again. Godot is really good for 2D games, and if you somehow end up being a professional with it, I guess you could make 3D games with it too, but it's not exactly meant for 3D games. It's also open source though, so it's better than being run by a group that is a little money hungry. For the time being, I suppose I can trust Epic and Unreal Engine. Oh, wait, what? Oh. It just randomizes it. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know they updated it for that. That's cool. Yep, I'll take it. Yes, it is definitely better to learn on 2D before you start with 3D. I'm stubborn though, and I want to make 3D games too, so I have Unreal Engine. And thus I will suffer. All for the sake of learning Unreal Engine. I might look into it. In the end, the thing stopping me is still always the same. I have zero clue how to make 3D models. I have Blender. Learning it is a different story. But I definitely do want to learn it because otherwise, if I actually want game models, I have to pay someone else to make them or use already made assets, and yeah. I thought about it, but making the games out of all cubes is somewhat restrictive in my opinion. And then there's also the aspect of not all games are meant to be cubes. But last time I tried to do something in Unity, I really struggled with colliders and stuff like that. It just wasn't working. It crashed like 3 times. Yeah, maybe I should consider Godot instead. I mean, there's nothing wrong with low poly at all, but it's just the style of game I'm going for. I want to do some interesting. Unreal Engine? I have no idea. Unreal Engine just it kept crashing. I added like 2 or 3 colliders to boxes, but I didn't even make a script. It just couldn't run. It just kept crashing. I don't know what was wrong with it. I've crashed Unity before, but that was 100% my fault every time. We don't talk about that. I'm imagining something like a Gario but with cubes when you say that. I would like to one day make a pretty decent survival sandbox game though. I kind of want to make a game that has like a little bit of like an immersive building system. Don't get me wrong, this is cool and all, but it is still a little bit blocky. It's been a while since I've played on there. Since the recent events, I've kinda ditched it. Plus, it's just not a game that I'm able to... It's not something I'm able to stick to. I haven't. Yeah, I want to say it'll open this way. Right? I don't know. Doors are weird because I never like the direction they open, but it can only open in 2 directions, so it doesn't matter where I place it, I don't like it. And it's kind of problematic. I mean, it really depends. I think any games similar to ones you're talking about, I don't think I've ever actually played too much of outside of Roblox. I typically what I play most is this game, Terraria, and Forza Horizon. Risk of Rain 2 was a little bit of a new addition. There's also, Slime Rancher. Um, what else? Satisfactory is an absolutely stunning game in my opinion. I had to force myself to stop playing that one for a while. I'll beat it one day. But I always end up in a position where I didn't like the factories I made and restarted, and then it would just kind of repeat, so I would end up restarting a bunch. And it's crazy, because despite that, I still had so much fun with the game. Okay, goodbye. If there's anything I could personally recommend, I haven't played that one yet. I think that one's in my wish list. But if you're into racing sims, I would suggest Forza Horizon. I have 4 and 5. I'm excited for 6. I'm very excited for 6. I have never played a VR game, which is strange. I've played games that can be played in VR. I mean, any game can now, but I've never played a VR game. Or played a game in VR, I should say. Oh, that's not right. I've seen it. My only problem with that one is sorry, my mic cut out. My only problem with that one, from what I've seen, is that you kind of teleport around, and I'm not a fan of that. You can't like walk normally, and even then, like walking normally is kind of with buttons, which makes sense. But I kind of like the idea of the weird like treadmill thing, so that you can actually walk in real life, have the body tracking in order to walk into the game or walk in the game. That's something that if I were to get VR for, I would absolutely want. Just because I think it's cool. It actually takes into account that you might not have as much stamina as the game character does. It's There's no way the treadmill's only $300. Oh, don't worry, my PC is 4 times that. I spent too much on this thing. My PC could absolutely run that sort of thing, but there's absolutely no way the treadmill is only $300. That would be crazy. Is it? I'm about to get a VR set. Hang on a second. What? No, a lot of these, they're like at least $800. Obviously, I'd want one of the ones that allow you to kind of like lean around, of course. It would be boring if you couldn't lean or anything like that. There's no way these things are that. I don't want to say cheap. They're definitely at least a couple thousand for good ones, but at the same time, you know, seeing a 360 treadmill cheaper than my graphics card is insane. And of course, there is the Mecha one that's like $5,000. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna have to do more research. I thought these things were like tens of thousands of dollars minimum. That is actually crazy to me, and I might, assuming I do ever make more money than I do now, I might invest in one of those. There's other things I need to get first, though. You know, like a car. I am actually currently in the process of saving for one of those. Which is why this is only something I do for fun and I'm not relying on it. Let's see, I need fences now. The things I would do if I had the money for them. Let me tell you, they wouldn't be cheap. Yeah, the cheapest one I saw was $800, so... Yeah, it's like $850, $900. And even then, I mean, I still thought they were more expensive than that. Like, I genuinely thought when I first saw those, which was, by the way, years ago, I think on Shark Tank, I actually thought the cost of those was going to be tens of thousands minimum. And now I'm finding out they're only a couple $1,000. Couple hundred for the cheapest one. And I mean, in this economy, that's not exactly cheap, but it's also not as expensive as I thought. That's crazy to me still. I still thought it was so much more expensive. Oh, right, I can just do that. Hang on, can't I just switch this to small tunnel? Yeah. Cool. And if I just grab some dirt. There we go. It's still crazy to me that I can get it for under $10,000. I'm not gonna lie. And I may absolutely one day buy it. Alright, and if I'm correct, can't I just... and hope that it gives me the right one? Go on. Nice. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. There's so many things that I want that by the time I actually get money for anything, savings gets reduced right back to nothing. You know, one of the biggest of those being a car. Because I'm sort of in an area where getting a car is kind of necessary.
Actually, hang on. Oh no, I didn't know that was gonna do that. That's fine. I thought it was gonna be something where I could, easily just pick it up. Oh well. I need this one, and I want... I kinda want the split in half block. This one here. 4 of them. And then... Oh wait, I guess I needed 6 of them. Actually, that's fair. What I did with my PC is, I got all the parts as I got the money for them. And then when I got all the parts, including thermal paste, because I did learn I needed that, I looked on YouTube and built the computer. First time building a PC. And it took me 13 hours, primarily because I made a slight overlook, and I didn't know that the the fan could be installed from the back, and I ended up installing, I'm pretty sure, what was it? I installed something before something else, and I had to take everything back out so I could put the one thing in and put everything back. I'm not sure if it was the graphics card or RAM, but something I installed didn't have enough space without me taking the fan back out. In which case I kind of just installed the entire motherboard. And then after I put everything in, I learned that I could install the fan from the back, and I didn't actually have to kind of like move my hands around to figure out where the screws were, or were supposed to be. So yeah, that was kind of a mess, but I mean, it worked. The only reason I didn't get a pre-build is because I didn't want to save the money for it. Actually, what's crazy is I don't even regret building this PC. Actually, it's probably one of the best things I could have done. I love building PCs. It's something I think I'll always love at this point. And something I would actually like to do as a career is working with PC hardware. Software is okay too, I guess I'll accept it. I want to move this back one. The one thing that I will absolutely avoid if I can is networking, just because it is an absolute ton to learn, and I'm not a fan of it. It's not necessarily just that it's a learning curve, it's just there's so much to it that I'd have to remember that I just don't want to do it. It's just one of those things that takes too long. Or wait, hang on. I kind of want the... That's fine, I think I have an idea. I just have to figure out one thing.
That's actually fair enough. The thing is, when I built my PC, I didn't exactly use a box of scraps in my case. I was doing the research over the course of months, so I knew which parts I had and which parts I wanted. I knew what was compatible and what wasn't just because every time I looked into a part, I looked into what would work with it, what wouldn't work with it, and then I also looked at other parts, figured out what they would work with, what they wouldn't work with. I ended up learning a bit about the LGA sockets, how some were 1200 LGA, some 1700. Newer ones are 1700. And you couldn't actually get like a 10th or 11th gen processor without an adapter for an LGA 1700 socket. So a little bit of basic information. The LGA 1700 is larger than the LGA 1200. So you can't fit newer generation CPUs in there. And I think AMD uses something different. I don't remember what it's called. That's fair. Um, in my case, building a PC kind of fueled my want to dig into more PCs. I chose Intel. I don't know why I chose Intel over AMD. I actually, yes, I do. I ended up looking into it, and AMD is better for gaming. Intel is better for general tasks, especially like creation, content creation, and even programming, things like that. For whatever reason, Intel CPUs work better for what I was going for than AMD CPUs. But if I ever do get a dull PC setup, which I do want to do anyway, I might throw an AMD CPU in for the gaming side, and then keep the Intel on the other one, and then just throw a capture card in it so whenever I stream, I can have a PC that better performs for gaming on a capture card with a PC that better performs OBS and Visual Studio and all that. Yes, you are something you can do, which is really funny to me, is you can you can have two PCs and connect a keyboard and mouse to both of them and have the mouse actually travel between the different monitors without any delay or issues. It's essentially the same thing as having a multi-monitor setup, just with an extra PC for extra processing power. In my case, it would be two computers, since I'm not really running a server or AI rack or anything like that. So I would be running two computers. It's not necessary. It's just something I want to do because, one, it gives me an excuse to build another computer, and two, I just enjoy PCs enough that it's just one of those hobbies that I'm willing to put money into if I have spare disposable income that I'm not saving for something else. It's just one of those things I enjoy. Yes. So if, say I had, hang on, let me actually, I'm gonna do something probably dumb because this is supposed to be a Minecraft stream, but I'm gonna open Krita. Okay, so where's my drawing pen? Yeah, exactly. Where's my drawing pen? I need to figure out where my drawing pen is. Um, Okay, I found it. That's true. YouTube is telling me you're the only one here, so it works out. There will be a VOD of this, but I don't care. Oh, it's fine. They're not active. I think they subbed when I was playing a different game. So I need the brush to be smaller and um that's okay. Software's not open or hardware, not drivers. I love English. Let me yeah, Canvas Pro. I need to make sure. Hang on. Working area is here. Monitor calibration. It wasn't working, so we're going to calibrate it and figure out why that is. Okay. Hello? Is it on? It's not. Why is it not working? Let me restart Krita. That's a problem. Also, I want the advanced color wheel now. Oh, let me also make sure the brush is a little bit blacker, not white. I'm going to. I just had to get this to work, and apparently I was drawing with a white brush on a white background, and that wasn't working. Okay, so let's see. Can I change game capture to Krita? Will that work? It turns out it does, and you can see the drawing. And my chat is a little bit funny. Let me extend it. Actually, math is kind of enjoyable. I use it a lot. I don't use that side of math a lot. So let's say this is PC Tower 1. Obviously, I have the height Y70 Touch Infinite, which means this here is a touch screen. Why am I working with a highlighter? I don't like this. That's an airbrush, not a highlighter. Okay, let's say this is PC1. And then the ideal setup, I would have one of these over here. We're just gonna make this one a box. I probably won't have a touchscreen on this one because that would be a pain. I have done some art streams in the past. That's the funny thing about it. I'm actually pretty bad at it, but I do enjoy doing digital art. Again, I can't stick to one skill. That's why I don't have any skills. So down here, my dream setup is I have an ultra wide monitor here. And then I have two curved monitors kind of on top of it. So we'll say for this case, since I already have the Intel monitor in here, or the Intel processor in here, this will be the Intel one, and this one will be the AMD one. I'm not sure if it is actually cross-compatible like this. Oh, pixel art's all really fun. I'm actually decent at pixel art. I I've tried to make some game sprites. Yeah, my the biggest advice I could give is probably to try to stick to one thing if you can. Because if you keep going from one thing to another to another to another, things kind of you kind of learn a little bit of everything, but you don't end up having enough of one skill to actually go move forward with. So that's try your best if you can to stick to one thing. Obviously, that's not to say don't do anything else, but prioritize one thing. Like right now, I'm kind of juggling streaming and Google IT courses in the background because computer tech, things like that. I kind of want to get a career in that. So these are supposed to be the same size, these two here. I'm not good at drawing. We're going to ignore that. But then we have this little box here. I think it's a box, I don't know. And then we have a keyboard and mouse that kind of goes into here. This goes into each of these. We'll say for this case, the gaming PC would go into this monitor, and the Intel PC would go into these monitors. And I'd also like a drawing tablet down here. And we'll just say the Intel also goes into there. I might need an adapter for this because things get complicated once we look at 3 display ports and 1 HDMI down here. But I think I also have an HDMI up here for the CPU. That's technical stuff that doesn't really matter. But essentially, if I were to have a capture card in this computer here, not this computer. If I were to have a capture card in here, I could run OBS here and it would capture what's captured from this computer, which would be the game here. But the other cool part about it is this box right here. I'm not actually sure what they're called because I forgot. Would allow the keyboard and mouse to simultaneously switch between any of these 3 monitors here, despite them being run by 2 different devices. Like these 2 would be connected to this PC, and this one would be connected to this PC. But I could have the keyboard and mouse alternate between any of those. Actually, it's crazy. When I was in school, I wasn't able to get into any computer science classes because they were all full, and I, it's something that I kind of found out the school had a little too late. I guess it's my fault for not knowing that, but at the same time, like even like when I tried to get into it my final year of high school, the class was full, and they threw me into photography instead. So everything I know about PCs has been self-taught. So knowing about the graphics card, RAM sticks, CPU, obviously Coursera's helped a bit. Like I didn't know much about the North and South Bridge as well as I think it's the or MAM. Something where the CPU connects to the RAM sticks to gain better access to random access memory quicker. I learned those from Coursera, but building the computer, I learned that from YouTube. I pretty much did the research, taught myself everything I needed to know. Uh, if I ever upgrade my RAM sticks, I know now not to go with iQue because for whatever reason, iQue is a little bit incompatible with a lot of things. I think MSI also has slight compatibility issues, but nothing really works together when it comes to the software end of things. So, I mean, if you can get the same brand parts, especially if you want to sync lighting, that's where it's mostly important. I would say try to, but I have mixed brand parts. I'm running a Height Y70 Touch Infinite with Lee and Lee fans, an RTX 4090. It's a Gigabyte Gaming, that's the brand for that one. An Asus motherboard, iQue RAM sticks, and an Intel CPU. The CPUs don't really matter though because you only have Intel and AMD as of the well-known ones. But basically, yeah, what I'm talking about combining or having a dual PC setup, what I mean is one PC will connect to this monitor down here, And then one will connect to the other two monitors, probably a drawing tablet. And the keyboard and mouse, through something, should be able to just travel between these monitors without any flaws whatsoever. Despite the fact that these monitors are connected to two different PCs, it just flawlessly travels the monitors because it's connected to both. Anyway, maybe I should move this back over here and get back to the game. Yeah, PCs are extremely interesting to me, and I would love to have this set up. Exactly. It's not really allowed. I think one of the main issues is unless you're using cloud-based software, you can't transfer tabs from one monitor to another, but you can transfer the mouse from one to another, which means you don't have to have two different keyboards and two different mice in order to use both devices, which is the primary thing that I care about with this setup is making sure that I can seamlessly move between monitors as if it's a single PC setup. And technically, since the monitors are different, like if you have a better graphics card in one than the other, say like one PC supports HDR and the other doesn't, HDR would only work on the one monitor connected to that PC. I actually don't know much about older PCs, but I will say, hard drives aren't exactly something I like with PCs. They have more space, but they're also slower over time. I'd have to look up what those are. I haven't looked into those just yet, but I know one thing that I'm going to probably do is since I'm debating on rooming with others just because it's cheaper to do that in the economy now. I'm debating on doing a little bit of networking, some at-home networking to make sure the Wi-Fi runs good. I'm gonna hate it because remembering all that is annoying, but that's an interesting thing to have. My PC has all M2 sticks. I don't have any disk drives. I don't have any larger SSDs. It's all M2s. SATA cables are saved for other things, just because SATA is kind of limited and there's more things that I want. For example, I would eventually like to swap my PC from air cooling to liquid cooling, and that means taking the Noctua D15S that I have and potentially swapping it. I have my operating system running on a 1 terabyte M2, and then I have two more M2s, each having 2 terabytes of storage. So in total, 5 terabytes. And I was debating recently on clearing some storage for the first drive, the 1 terabyte drive, and then splitting it into two volumes, or not volumes, instances, so I can get Linux on the second instance of the first SSD. Yeah, when I built this thing, I didn't exactly go into it as a budget PC. I kind of just saved up a lot of the money. Let me not just talk, let me swap over so I can continue the building and also, you know, chat about that. But yeah, when I went into it, I kind of went into it thinking I want an overkill PC and nothing is going to stop me from getting it. To which I got what I wanted. I would also have to look into that. What I was looking into recently was just having it to where I could swap between. Um, oh, neat. Okay. I guess that's one way I could do it if I can't clear enough space on the 1 TB drive, which I should be able to, despite the fact that it's 74% full. But I was debating on just getting the Linux Ubuntu operating system on a second instance of the C drive, and from there I would just be able to go into BIOS and switch operating systems whenever I want. And it's more so for the learning experience, learning how to use Linux, because that's unfortunately a very important part of any IT role is I do need to know how to run Linux. But I also just thought it would be cool to learn. Though, as you can probably tell based on my PC specs and the fact that I built it and talk about it so much, hardware is definitely my favorite part of it. I'll definitely look into that. I think Coursera mentioned something, or the Coursera course I'm taking mentioned something on that, being able to essentially simulate, uh, I guess, run a virtual instance of Linux. As it's, I kind of forgot about that part. Um, I need this in here. But no, PCs, I love PCs. I love building them. I love programming with them. Everything. It's just enjoyable. It's a fun experience. Okay, maybe I should try running. I mean, I absolutely have the resources, oops, to run that sort of thing. As long as it doesn't run as poorly as the Quick Lab stuff I've been using, because Quick Labs happens to be a little bit buggy. It's something that I am required to use sometimes for, or not required. I think they said because the recent uh, age requirements, it's not required to do, but I'm a completionist. I like doing it if I can. So I did it anyway. And I realized that a lot of the steps that I directly followed, it just didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna need more wood, and I guess I should probably end the stream here. I was supposed to end it 20 minutes ago, but I got really distracted. That's true. I think with that, I was actually debating on getting a fourth M2 drive for Linux, but I then learned I could split it and just dual boot that way. Yeah, I just need to clear out some storage for it. But I do think I'm gonna end the stream here. I have to wake up in like what, 5 hours? So yeah, I guess I'll see anyone who joins the next stream in the next one. I might not stream tomorrow just because I'll be busy and probably asleep. And until then, I guess goodbye. Maybe I'll see about turning my PC explanation into a clip. But I'll do that when I have a little bit more free time. All right, I will do so. I'll let you know if I ever do turn the PC explanation into a clip. If I can get it into 1 minute. I think that was way longer than a 1 minute explanation of the PC. But I guess I'll see everyone in the next one, and until then, goodbye. I got a squeaky mic.